Welcome to Podcast of All Podcasts. Enjoy best moments of podcast history. Nikki Glaser with Tracy Morgan.
In the 80s and the 90s, before God came in my life in the form of comedy, through my ex-wife, God bless the dead, who told me to pull a trigger. No, you funny, brother. You got my panties. I know you funny.
Yeah. So she pushed you into
I
comedy?
laughed her right out of her panties. Laughed her right out of her panties. Women know comedy.
Yeah.
Before you do. They know who funny from the premise. Just from the setup. They know who funny.
So she was
You
a
know
woman
why?
who
Because
pushed
if you ask any woman what she loved most than any man, she'll say, "Sis, I don't care how long your penis is, how big it is, or your wallet. If you make her laugh, she love you.
Yes.
They're women. They're emotional. They got the world on their shoulders. So if you make her forget that for a minute, she love you.
And she was the first one to say to you,
Pull the
you
trigger.
got to do this.
Pull the trigger.
And
Those
have
are
you
her
thought
words.
about it?
She died last October of cancer. But she was the one, her very words were, pull a trigger.
Wow.
4 months later, I was on Def Jam.
Oh, my
Jesus.
God. So what was your first set?
I don't know. You go to Def Jam, you see it.
That's
no,
the
your
first
first set.
one?
My
Your
first
first
set?
set was a TV set?
No.
But
My
I mean, what
first
was
set
the
was in
first-
a workshop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to structure material yet.
Yeah,
I just was funny.
Yeah.
You gotta understand, God didn't bless me with material. Material is life, if you're paying attention. He blessed me with a sense of humor.
Yeah. It's
Funny
not
is
learned.
funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when people ask me about material, I said, mind your business. Don't bother me with that. Don't bother me when my third eye's open. I'll see the material. I'm paying attention. But the funny, you got great material, but you ain't funny.
Mm-hmm.
Funny's just funny. Y'all been laughing since I walked in the door.
Well,
I look funny. Look at my profile.
It's true.
I know how to get the laugh. I mean, look at my profile. You gotta be a strong woman to have a dude with a face like me on top of you, uncle. You gotta be strong. Oh my God, man, you make some pretty babies.
Thank you.
I know it.
You love sex, and I love talking about
Beauty
sex.
and the Beast. It's all Beauty and the Beast.
What
I
do you
love
mean?
sex. I love Beauty and the Beast, but nobody else better not call you a beast. I'm a beautiful man. I love sex. Oh my God, it's the only thing God made us.
It's so
It's
good.
the only thing He gave us to make us one.
Oh.
When I'm inside of you, we are one.
Yeah, that's what gets me sometimes because
But you gotta be kind.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. Listen, as pretty as you are, and you are, every man in your life, besides your dad, looked at, and your brothers and your uncles and all that, looked at you and they wanted something. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, Nika. Right, Nikki?
Yeah.
I want to be the one to look at you with loving eyes, not lustful eyes. That's the deal breaker. When your husband look at you and he gaze at you while you cooking.
Yes.
And you turn around and say, what you looking at? And he go, my life. My future.
Boy.
My future. My life. That's love. The highest understanding is the highest level of love. When you can love someone and their flaws and faults, that's an understanding. So, I met my wife and I ain't touch her for 4 months. We was sleeping together, neck and all that, and I ain't touch her. I wouldn't lay a glove on her.
Wait.
I wouldn't lay her because she 18 years younger than me. Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Biracial and all that. Beautiful.
Uh-huh.
And one day she asked me, I'm young, I'm pretty, why you don't come get this? I said, because I want to keep you around. We need an understanding before we get physical. Any two people could fuck. Excuse my language.
No,
but they
please.
can't. It's called porno.
Yeah.
Strangers could do it.
How did you?
But to have an understanding
It
with
sounds
somebody.
like.
But you just knew. You knew you wanted something deeper with this woman the second you met her.
Of course.
And had you done that
49,
before?
I'm 42. Yeah. With my first wife, she passed away.
Yeah, but you
But that
took
was
your
a
time with her
different
as well.
situation. She was older than me back then. I wanted a family. She gave me that. And then we grew apart.
Yeah.
We grew apart.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God, He gave me someone else to love me, and He gave me a second chance. So my life is second chance.
How did you meet your second wife?
We met in front of Madison Square Garden 8 years ago. And she's so pretty, man. If you go online, you see her. She's a very beautiful woman. And the first thing I said to her is, you're going to be my wife. Before I introduced myself,
What?
I said, you're going to be my wife. Hi, my name is Tracy Morgan. And then I said, you're going to have my baby. You're going to have my baby. My daughter's 4 years old now.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
And we ain't finished. Because I'm old school. I don't pull out.
What did she say?
I'm like prison. When I come in, I come in. I'm doing life.
What did she say when you said that?
She started laughing.
Okay.
The way to a woman's smile is through her sense of humor.
So how did you
Yeah.
wait 4 months? This is so
And I
fascinating
wanted
to
an
me.
understanding.
And so you guys were just hanging out, getting naked, laying in bed next to
we
each other,
lived
not
together.
touching?
We was living together.
Uh-huh.
She didn't understand that. I gave her loving eyes. I loved her. From the
So you
day
just
I
wanted
met
to
her.
get. So what
From
then?
the day I met her, I wanted a family with her.
But what happened on
It's
that
cool.
4th month?
And she was right there with me when I was in a coma.
Yeah.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So listen to her story. That's my strength. I call it my wisdom. That's my wisdom. Knowledge, wisdom, and we brought forth the understanding. That's my ways.
What was that for?
Good girl.
4
Huh?
months in, what was that like? How did it finally go
I
down?
knew what I was doing. I'm grown. She's 24. I was 42.
But
Yeah,
what
18 years older, so I knew what I was doing.
what happened after that 4 months that you go, okay, now's the
I
time?
waited for her to ask me.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
And when I explained it to her, what I was doing, she changed.
Mm-hmm.
She changed. I want to keep you around.
So she
changed.
finally said,
2 days
why
later, I
don't you
gave her
fuck me?
some. 2 days later, I gave her some because she understood. I didn't just say it and then we did it. No, I let it sink in.
Yeah.
I let her understand it and I explained it to her. Then I know I want a family with you. I want to marry you. I want to love you. Already.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the last life. When you gravitate to someone and all of a sudden it's that chemistry,
Yeah.
male or female, it doesn't matter. You can't be like, why? No, you got to know why. Probably in the last life, we was man and wife. Maybe in the last life.
Yeah.
Maybe we was brothers. Maybe we was cousins. Maybe I was your favorite cousin, Nikki.
Yeah.
And your mother told you, your cousin coming over. It's a family barbecue. Who, Trey? Yeah. Oh, yes. Because it's fun.
Yes.
We going to play video games. I'll probably beat somebody's ass in the basketball court. They said something. Would you say to my cousin? Would you say to my said something nasty to my cousin? Would you say to my cousin? And it was on and popping. But that's how it is. I transcend color. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
I never did. My dad went to Vietnam, and he told me racism and prejudice and all that is garbage because in the foxhole, everybody died. Bullets didn't have no color. So he taught me that as a child. So I never had no inferiority complex. I excelled on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
The whitest thing on TV.
We
so
fully
I'm not
embrace
afraid.
you.
I love you.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So let's forget 49 years. Let's take the last 3 years, right, B-Wop? The last 3 years of my life, everything I've gone through, I must ask myself, am I a better man now than I was? And the answer is yes. Because today my friends are white, black, male, female, straight, gay. I love you, and you can't do shit about it.
What was it like
love
before?
Me back. Was like, no, my dad taught me I love everybody before. So, but I'm just saying today, I know my purpose is to spread love.
It is.
Not to troll. None of that.
Yeah.
I don't do none of that. You ever go to dinner and see everybody at the table on their phones? What?
You're not
Put the
doing
phones
that.
and let's talk.
Yeah.
I'm a 49-year-old man. I don't play that. I remember when this wasn't around.
Right.
Totally destroying the art of communication. Sometimes people text and email because they want to control the conversation. Pick up the phone. I want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
I love you too.
That is.
Call me. I want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want to. I'm not texting you my day all day long texting. So when I get home, Nikki, me and you ain't got nothing to talk about because you text everything to me. You text everything to me. I know what you did at 3 o'clock. You texted. Come on, man. Let's communicate. Without no communication, there ain't no relationship. It ain't.
Well, that's what everyone says the key to a relationship is.
You know what I love about comedy the most?
What?
Ain't no app for it.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing like going to see live comedy. And if your man take you to a comedy show to see me, he love you because he want to see you laughing and smiling. Holla at me. Everything ain't ha, ha, ha. Some things is just a grin or a smile. Some people are at a comedy show because they want to see where you coming from.
You said earlier today, I was listening to you on Stern. You said the difference between performing for white crowds and black crowds is that you have to describe your situation a little bit more.
You don't know what it is to be in the projects. You know what comedy is? Comedy is knowing who you is and where you from and perfection. You ain't never been in the projects, so how you gonna know what it is? I gotta explain it to you and use a little bit more paint, a little bit more color, a little bit more detail. You'll get it. If you don't, you need to go get help.
Right.
You're a human being just like I am. Let's transcend color. It's just that I'm going to help you out with this joke because I want everybody laughing at it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. I'm not into the inside stuff. Okay, white people laugh at the same thing black people laugh at. Same thing. Paint the picture, use a little bit more detail.
Where do you get all this wisdom? Do you work on yourself? Do you see a therapist?
Wisdom, no. I talk to somebody, yeah.
Your spirituality.
But my dad.
Yeah, your dad has really impacted you.
My dad loved me, but my dad left me at 19.
When you think about your dad, what's a moment that comes to mind?
All the books he used to read. How he used to talk to me. I never hung out with nobody my age. You think I'm hanging out with him?
No.
He know the same thing about sex and women as I know.
Yes.
My father and my uncles taught me what it is, how to hit the G-spot and all of that.
How do you?
How to look. Will you find it?
Joe Rogan with Jim Gaffigan.
Operate within the parameters of an ABC primetime show.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I don't know how. I don't.
That's
think
the hardest job in the world.
I don't think shows like that.
Not really, but
would have a shot.
Yeah.
Homeland's a good show. Have you watched that?
No, I haven't. I gave up after Lost.
You did?
Yeah.
On TV.
So you just don't watch television?
I don't watch anything that's
the show
not
ended
real.
and you threw your flat screen out the window.
Elvis the TV. I only watch...
That's it. I'm done. Throwing it out
I watch...
the window.
it's not a good thing. It's not by any virtue. Like, I watched Bigfoot Hunter. I watched fucking 2 episodes I had DVR'd.
Wait a minute. There's a show called Bigfoot Hunter?
Finding Bigfoot or something.
And it's like a series where they have like more than one episode.
Dude, it's
You'd think
amazing.
after the first episode they'd be like, yeah, we're not going to find them.
Well, it's also... No, the best part about it is the beginning. The guy says, I've been hunting Sasquatches for 25 years. You're like,
plural.
Quit now. Quit now. You haven't even got a video of one. You crazy asshole.
That was like, it's like, hey, those ghost shows are really not realistic. Like, they never really find a ghost. What if we did it with Sasquatch? What's next? Like Chupacabra?
Sure. If they can sell it, they would have it. It's a fun show to watch though because it's so stupid. I mean, first of all, everyone has a video that they want you to analyze that may have been a Sasquatch, so they have to recreate the scene in the video. And it looks
sweet.
It looks so silly because the people knew exactly where the car was and this is the tree, and so they line it up on the camera.
Yeah.
And then they have this big guy named Bobo who kind of looks like a Bigfoot, and he goes out there and he does exactly and he's always way bigger than the Bigfoot in the video, so it always proves that it wasn't really
That's
a Bigfoot,
on his
but a
resume
dude.
right now. Oh, I see here you were Bigfoot. Yep, I was Bigfoot. Season 1, Season 2, they replaced me. There was like a contract negotiation.
Do you remember when
I
Harry
wanted
and the
to make
Hendersons?
Bigfoot more empathetic and
Harry and the Hendersons, like a whole family lived with Bigfoot.
why not? There's
Could you imagine?
There's so
these
many
are my
shows.
kids. I'm pretty sure. I don't even trust dogs that I don't know. This guy's got a fucking Bigfoot hanging out
and
with
you
his
know
kids.
what? He probably told these stupid humans a thing or two about love.
Oh.
Yep.
Harry and the Henderson. There's never been a real good Bigfoot movie. How about that? Nobody's ever stepped up.
And it's not like the bar's been set that high.
No, the bar is incredibly low. The bar is all fraudulent videos.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing to a Bigfoot movie.
And I would think after like season 1, there's a lot of people that watch the show and they're like, why not? Like, I think you should submit a video.
How come there's never been there was there's some really bad ones in the 70s or some Swamp Thing monster guy.
Yeah.
But there's never been a good movie about a bunch of people that encounter Bigfoot. Why? How is that possible? That you have such a folklore that has completely permeated society.
He's not
but
sexy
no one's ever
enough.
made not sexy. Bigfoot.
No, Bigfoot's
no
not
one's ever
sexy.
made a movie about finding Bigfoot. That's amazing.
That's true.
That's incredible, really, when you think about how popular it is. You'd think that movie would be huge.
Some of the movie ideas they're doing, they're just like it's like based on a matchbook.
Yeah.
So you'd think they'd have Bigfoot.
What if they
especially in
make a female
romantic
one?
comedies when you hear some romantic comedy premise and you're like, what?
I don't understand.
And they finally meet again at 60.
I sometimes feel like I just established consciousness when I was like 30 because like romantic comedies like I was so dumb, I think, in my 20s that, like, when, it would be like, Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, like
Harry Met Sally.
Like, to me, that was just a movie. I didn't consider that a romantic comedy, which it was. But now it's like this genre that is always existed, but they just kind of, like, just churn out these just, like,
those didn't exist
sausage
before.
Romantic
you know what
comedies.
existed? Movies where when a woman got mouthy, the man gave her the back of her hand.
Yep.
Back of his hand. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they used to do.
To the moon, Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Those were the good old days.
Billy Crystal fucked us. Billy Crystal fucked us. He fucked us and Harry Met Sally.
Nothing wrong.
He tried to be manly. He tried to be the best example of, and then he caved.
That or Sleepless in
because
Seattle.
So you see when Harry Met Sally is like, it's like a sad ending to you. You're like, you know what? Everyone else you're like, yep, there you go.
It just seems like the relationship seems like so much work. I'm never happy when a relationship that seems like so much work works out. Because I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. It's like, it's not going to last. You guys fight
but
too
wait
much.
a minute. There's a lot of people in relationships. You just think that they're all acting. You're like, well, I don't want Joe Rogan to think that I can't do this.
Listen, everyone has been in good and bad relationships. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when one is a battle, one is a crazy battle like Harry Met Sally.
Oh, yeah, no, where they have nothing in common. It's like we hate each other.
Yeah.
We don't get along. But we got drunk one night and made out, so maybe we should get married.
Is it getting to the point, I'm 44. How old are you?
21.
You look great.
Yep.
Is it getting to the
I'm
point
45.
yet where you look at like older married folks and like that are just barely into each other, barely can communicate with each other, and you look at it and you go, I could see how that could happen.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, definitely.
You can see how it could happen, right?
But there's nothing normal about what we do. You know what I mean? Like, I think in some of those married couples, it's like I do everything with my wife, so it's not as if the conversation where like the silent man, like, don't talk to me, Virginia. Like where they don't
let
talk.
Your wife talk? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, on Tuesdays she's allowed to talk. No, but there's that complete communication breakdown. I don't know.
That's the only reason to be married. In my opinion, the only way you should ever, other than children, and that, of course, kind of goes with the whole package of that sort of a relationship, they're like a really intense relationship.
That's homophobic of you.
Thank you. But the only reason why you should is because you feel like that. That's it. And if you don't, if anything
but
less
it's
than
not
that,
easy.
There's
definitely moments
get your own shit
where
together,
you're
too.
like, this is too hard. But
that's what whores are for.
That's what?
Whores.
No, that's what you gotta suck it up. You gotta go long term. It's like stand up comedy. When I don't know, maybe you probably did all right, but there's a lot of nights where you just eat shit.
I ate dick.
But you're committed.
Many
You've
times.
made the commitment.
Sure.
Remember when you had friends that quit comedy, and they'd be like, "I'm quitting," and you'd look at them and you go, "I don't think I could ever quit." I really feel that way. It's like, this is not something like, I'll try this and then maybe I'll try archery. It's like, it's not like I had a choice in this. It's like I was resigned to be like the weird old uncle. I didn't think that
when you're constantly making people laugh like you are, like even just we're having this conversation, all the three of us, there's that feeling that you get when you're laughing really hard at something where all of our brains are like, it's like a real energy that goes off when you're really laughing hard at something. People fucking love that.
Yeah.
You love it. They love it. You love to do it. It's one of the most fun things to be able to do that to a whole room full of people.
Yeah.
People to go out and see it. It's one of the most fun things for them to see.
Yeah,
so why would you quit? Why would you quit? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's an absolute heroine, right?
Yeah.
Going on
so
stage and being able to, make a crowd laugh or just coming up with a new joke.
And by the way, I feel like it's also a responsibility because there's Jim Gaffigan fans out there, and you got them addicted to Jim Gaffigan humor, and you got to keep coming. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep touring. You got to keep coming to them. They want to come see you again.
Well,
and again.
I think it's also, even though I think fan is, that's a different topic.
It's a weird word.
I think it's a weird word, particularly for me, but I think it's also really important to like do well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like not
suck.
If people are paying $30, it's like they better leave. Like if they don't leave going, that was great. You fucked up.
Some of my most inspirational moments in comedy have been from reading a review of someone who said that, like, oh, I thought it was boring, or oh, I didn't like it. And I've read those before. And
Kevin Pollak with Tim Meadows.
To where it started, Tim. Let's go back to the beginning, back to Detroit. So in my research, I found something that really jumped out at me, which was when you were a young man, you had the instinct, the performer instinct. You were funny. You knew you were funny. You wanted to get out there, and so you started doing stuff after school in Detroit. But you had to keep it secret from your friends.
Yes.
That really jumped out at me.
Yeah, because I really liked comedy, and I wanted to be an actor, and I wanted to be a performer. But I grew up in Detroit, and I was as far away from show business as you could be, literally.
Sure.
And so I was kind of embarrassed to talk about it in front of my friends who are they're still African American. They were and are now African American. No. But and so what happened was I took some improv classes with this guy who studied with Del Close, and he moved back to Detroit and started teaching improv classes. And so I saw a story about it in the newspaper on my birthday.
Wow, which birthday?
It was my 25th birthday, maybe something like that. 24th, maybe earlier actually. But I was still in college, so it was probably like my 22nd, something like that.
Okay.
But I read this article, and it was like, oh yeah, this guy is like Del Close, I knew who he was, and I knew who he'd worked with, like John Belushi and people from SNL. And so I told myself, I'm going to do this class and just figure it out. But I never told any of my friends that I was doing it.
Yeah.
And because it meant going to the suburbs, which was Royal Oak, Michigan, and taking these classes. And so I would go, and at the time, I was also, selling pot.
Okay.
And me and some friends we had a house and we sold pot from our house.
Wow.
And so there was times when I was supposed to be on duty at the house selling weed.
Oh, man.
And I would be like, I can't be here. And my friends, they would be like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't want to tell them that I was going to do improv in the suburbs.
Sure.
And so that became sort of like it became a secret. I would just say I'm going out on a date or I got something else to do,
Wow.
And so I really hid it. And then finally we started doing shows, whatever, we can go to anything you want. But we started doing shows, and then finally, after I thought I was decent at it, I invited my friends to come and see it.
Oh, that's good.
And so they ended up coming to see me perform occasionally, and they were all like, they thought we had learned this, we rehearsed everything. And so when I told them that it was all made up on the spot, they were impressed by it.
Oh, that's great.
And then, I have to say, honestly, they became very supportive after they found out that I was doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So then, okay. So you started in the suburbs in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Yeah.
And then you had an older friend who went to Chicago first.
Yeah. This guy named Marc Beltzman, who's a comedian and teacher now, does improv.
Oh.
But we did improv in Detroit, and we did it for like a year or so, and then we broke up. The group sort of broke up because I think people just got tired of like trying to find places to play.
Sure.
And like with any improv group, it becomes like a infighting. And
right. What was the name of the group, by the way?
It was called the Detroit Times Theater Company.
Okay. Very creative.
It was dumb because we didn't put improv anywhere in the name of the group. People we thought we were being funny that we didn't mention improv.
Well, it's better than like Hitler's Underpants, which would have been very...
Yeah,
ahead of its time.
We got into stupid names later.
Okay.
But back then we were trying to be like an actual theater company. But yeah, so Marc moved to Chicago after we broke up. I went back to work. I dropped. I guess I sort of was still going in school and working for this company in Detroit. I was an office. I really was just an office guy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, did whatever they wanted me to do around the office. And then but I was always dedicated to my job. I worked really hard, and this one engineer in this company asked if I could be his like personal assistant.
Okay.
And then I started just working for him mainly, and then I started thinking about like, what do I want to do? I was like, I don't want to do this forever.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to work for an engineer, and because there came a point where they were talking. The company was from Canada. They built this thing called the People Mover, which in Detroit, which turned out to be a lot like that episode of The Simpsons with the train. Remember that episode?
Oh, the monorail.
Monorail.
Yeah.
It was a lot like that.
Okay.
Where this company from Canada came, they built this train system that was like electronic, but it went nowhere.
Oh.
It really circled the downtown area.
Right.
And so, and it was millions of dollars in debt. And the company, they were almost done with their portion of it, and they were going to go back to Canada. And the guy who I was working for said, would you like to come to Canada and keep working for our company, Ooh. And so I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to Canada to keep doing this fucking job.
Yeah.
And so, but it was a nice offer for a kid, a young man in Detroit. And so I thought, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And so Marc moved to Chicago. Me and some friends went to visit. And it was like it was just like this awakening that I had. Because there was this whole community of people that were doing improv.
Yeah.
And in Detroit, it was just us. It was like 7 people.
Yeah.
And then to see this community, that they had places you could play. The community was supportive of each other. People came to the shows, and
Yeah, this was like mid '80s, right?
Yeah.
So it was huge.
It was huge, but it was really like long form was just starting out, like long form improv.
Right. The Del Close.
The Del Close and Harold's and stuff like that. And so so I just I said to myself, this is the true story. I was like, I got to make a decision what I want to do with my life. Yeah. And I was a big fan of the Talking Heads.
Okay.
And they had a movie, a concert movie called Stop Making Sense.
Sure.
And I went and saw that movie 2 or 3 times while I was in Detroit because it was a limited run at the Detroit Art Institute. And after the movie, I went by myself because nobody knew my friends. They're black. They didn't fucking care about the Talking Heads. Okay. But I went, and after the movie one night, I was sitting in my car and I was thinking, those guys had to make a decision one day. Either they're going to be art students in Rhode Island, art school, whatever it is, Institute of whatever. Yeah. Or they decided to be musicians. But a point came when they said, we're going to do one of these things, and they went to music. And I said in my car, and I said, I got to do that right now. I got to make a decision.
Wow.
And so I said, I'm going to give myself 5 years. I'm going to go to Chicago. I'm going to work. And I had my saxophone. I played sax in the band coming up through high school.
So good.
And I said, even if I can't get a job and I have to play my sax on the street for money, I'm going to do it. I'm moving.
That's great.
And so I told the guy that I was working for, and he goes, I'm going to give you a bonus on your last day because I'm really proud that you found out what you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want you to use any of your vacation money. I'm going to give you, so you get your vacation money. I'm going to give you a bonus, and I want you to save every dime that you make. You can work overtime. You can come in. You can bill us as much as you want.
That's what a great boss.
Yeah, he was great.
That's tremendous.
And so that's what I did. Like for the next 6 weeks or 2 months or something, I just worked all the time, saved up every dime that I had, and then I moved. I went to Chicago.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And somebody reminded me this. I gave myself 5 years. The 5th year, I was on Saturday Night Live.
Right. Yeah.
Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I read that.
Yeah.
You moved in 1986, and in 1991 you were on SNL.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good.
Marc Maron with Kristen Wiig.
Or if I say no, how am I going to feel?
You think that while it's happening?
I think before I have to make a decision, I think that, yeah.
How do you usually do?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
I mean, I think if you... Oh, it's so gross. Just like go with your gut.
Man, you can trust your gut?
Yeah, you have to. It's all you have.
My gut has made some shitty decisions out of neediness and desperation.
Or you could argue there's no such thing as shitty decisions.
Right.
That you needed to do those, go through that horrible relationship or turn down that street.
That's right. As life goes on, I realize that you really have no choice but to think that way.
Yeah, what else are you going to do?
Just beat the shit out of yourself. That's the option. Yeah, how much you have invested in that. So, all right, so there you are. You're not an actress. You're a child in Lancaster. And when do you start thinking maybe I'm going to be hilarious?
Well, I never thought that. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a normal thing to perform in front of the mirror and pretend you're on stage when you're in the shower and use the curtain as the curtain for the stage.
Sure. That's not great. Did you have people over for that?
Yeah, friends.
Oh yeah, you put on a show.
Yeah, but a couple people here and there. It wasn't I invited the whole.
No flyers.
No flyers. But I was always fascinated with it, but I think every kid is, so I don't know. And it just seemed like a different world. When you would look at those magazines, what do they have back then?
Glamour.
Teeny Bop pages.
Teen Beat.
Teen Beat, not Teeny Bop pages.
Yeah.
They just look like people from another.
Yeah.
LA was far away. There was no way to get there. It was there was a wall around it. I didn't know what it was, and I was fascinated by it. And
you were
in love with
who?
Oh my God, Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah,
Ricky Schroeder, Kirk Cameron.
Oh, Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah,
he's an interesting fella.
I love him. I've worked with him a few times, and the first time I worked with him, I was like, I don't want to tell you how much I know about you.
From those magazines.
Yeah.
I watched 2 of your movies in a row.
Which ones?
The good ones.
The only 2 good ones.
No. I watched Skeleton Twins.
Yeah.
And Welcome to Me.
Oh.
Which
cool.
I liked.
Thank you.
A lot.
Thank you.
I cried at both those movies.
Those are 2 very special movies.
They're special movies. You should be proud of them.
Yeah. Thank you. I am. Thank you.
Good work.
Thanks.
I actually watched the Sausage Festival.
Oh, yeah. Sausage Party?
Yeah. I've seen Bridesmaids, and I've seen a lot of your movies here and there. And then you pop up in movies like Martian, right? What was that deal like?
It was so fun.
I think it's a pretty funny movie.
Matt is so funny in that movie.
It's like he's astounding as an actor. Really.
He's one of our greatest.
Oh, no, there's no doubt.
Yeah, and the nicest.
Is he?
Yes.
He seems like a decent person.
He's just great.
He's such a pro, and like I can't his range is every time I see him, I'm like, this guy's the best.
He's so when he gets to do comedic stuff, I want more.
Yep.
Yeah.
In anything you like seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
The Ocean's movie.
So good.
How many times did you see the Behind the Candelabrum?
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't not watch that movie.
Oh my, you can't not
watch it.
Yeah.
If it's on, like it was
if it's on.
I kept watching it. I'd just pick it up wherever it came on. Who are you talking to, Mumbles? They were both so good.
They were both so good together.
It was so
and
crazy.
that shot at the end when he's in bed and he's sick and they made him look so skinny.
Yeah, and he just gives him a ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, what happens? You go to high school, and are you confused?
Just about life?
Yeah. Where do you have...
Well, I moved from Lancaster to Rochester, New York, in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Because my parents split up, and my mom was from Rochester, and I'd been there a bunch because my grandma lives there, and she moved back there, and they thought it was a good idea for me to go there because I was hanging out with some,
bad people,
kids.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
How old were you? 14?
Yeah, let's see. Well, beginning of 8th grade. How old are you?
I don't know.
I don't either.
You getting in trouble though?
Yeah.
Like with what? Dudes?
Just like
booze.
Yeah, not so much booze then, but sneaking out like cops, like prank phone calls, vandalizing, like.
Oh yeah, what kind of vandalizing? Eggs,
like breaking things.
Sure, yeah.
I think it was because we were all sort of like this gang of kids.
Yeah.
Our parents were divorced.
Yeah.
We sort of like found family in each other.
Oh yeah.
And we just kind of like, I don't know.
Fuck it.
Yeah, a little.
Let's do it. Tear it up.
I think so.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Didn't care about school.
Yeah.
I was like mad and.
Yeah. Let's teach the world a lesson.
Well, it wasn't so much like that, but just like it'd be fun and like you get away with stuff and like sneaking out was like my favorite thing to do.
Oh yeah, it's exciting.
To jump out of like the window, climb out the roof, get in the tree.
And your friends are sort of like, come on.
Yeah, and the moon is out.
Yeah.
What should we do?
It's all quiet.
Yeah.
Did you steal cars?
No, I wasn't that bad.
Did you drive though? 8th grade, you didn't take your mom's car, nothing, do any of the driving, underage driving? That's exciting.
No, not so much.
Just ran around?
Yeah.
Yeah, with a bag of stuff.
Yeah, like older kids and like, I started in with like the drinking and the
smoking
cigarettes. Yeah.
Did you smoke cigarettes?
Yeah.
For a long time?
I mean, on and off.
Yeah.
Like I started when I was young.
Yeah, 14
and then,
for me.
Yeah, on and off around that time.
Right.
And then high school, just like you did, because everybody did.
How great were they?
And then
so good.
College, and then on and off. But I'm not a smoker anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Was it a struggle? Did it just go away?
No, it wasn't.
I still do the nicotine.
Yeah, I really believe if you don't want to quit smoking, you're not going to.
Right.
If you're like, I have to, it's really hard. I think you really have to say like, I don't like it.
And also it gets to the point where you're just stupid. You get to a certain age where you're like, this is dumb.
Yeah, like what are you doing?
You're not winning.
Yeah.
You're not getting nothing from it. And you just keep doing it. And you wake up and your lungs hurt.
But I love doing it.
Oh,
Like
it's so
holding
good.
it, the lighting
So
it. I
good.
mean, come on. There's some great. It's why it's so addictive. Yeah.
It's so good. So
but
fun.
It's not good.
All right, so you go to Rochester.
Go to Rochester, yeah. Loved high school.
Yeah?
Yeah, I loved it.
Were you performing? Plays?
No.
Nothing.
I didn't do... I mean, I think I was a munchkin in The Wizard of Oz.
Really? Like the largest munchkin?
No, it was like I stood in the background, basically. It was like a high school production.
With
it was
the
like
makeup?
the kids who didn't get the part got to be in the Munchkins.
Yeah.
That's why they do Wizard of Oz.
They had no idea what your capabilities were.
But I didn't really try. My mom is an artist, and I had always...
What kind?
She does a lot of pen and ink, and now she does painting.
Really?
A lot of pencil drawing. So I really got into that, and I was really into art in high school. And
Visual arts?
Yeah, and I was going to do that in college. I majored in it.
In college?
Yeah.
Painting?
Drawing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and...
Do you still draw?
I do.
Ah.
Yeah, I do.
That's nice.
Yeah, not as much as I don't want to say should, but as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, pressure yourself to get that drawing done.
Yeah, then they're really good.
Yeah.
Then you have
spend
fun.
a lot of time?
Yeah.
What do you do, like pictures of people?
Well, I used to do, very realistic.
Oh, yeah? So it takes
a lot
time.
of times from like photos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't get up until I finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't do it and then come back later. I would just sit for 7 hours and do it.
Yeah.
And then I found myself not doing it as much because I knew, because I'm so hard on myself, and like if it didn't look exactly like it, I'd get like frustrated. So then I just started doing like weird geometric.
Oh, yeah.
Like
why
mathematical,
pressure yourself?
reading about math and art, and I got into that phase for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to take the pressure off of
Yeah,
capturing
it's so
someone's
fun.
nose.
Yeah, and it's very meditative, and you can just sit with like a graph.
Yeah.
And
you did a lot of those?
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Is there going to be a show of your work?
I have always wanted to do that. I don't know. I wonder if I would do it maybe under like a different name or something.
How much do you have it all?
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas for things for like the more linear stuff, but the actual drawings, I have a few, yeah.
What's a few? Like are we talking like Speed Freak level? Like
No.
hundreds?
No. The last one I really liked, I gave away. And then I draw for friends sometimes as like a gift.
Oh. Small ones?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So you're going to be an artist of some kind.
Or like an art teacher is kind of what I thought.
Huh.
Because I was like, how do you make money if you're just an artist?
Yeah.
Maybe I just teach.
I dated
Derek Shepard with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Someone has basically an epiphany or a revelation or a lens change.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say for you that was one of those?
I would say so. Yeah. I did have this feeling when I got there. I felt like I could do anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that I actually thought those words in my head, but looking back on it, things are shifting.
Uh-huh.
Things are shifting.
Were there people that you were like, oh, wow, this, like, the sky's kind of the limit? Like, oh, young women are starting to be comedic forces and it's being embraced.
For me, I was in junior high in high school when SNL first started. And I definitely felt like those were my people.
Right.
I stayed up late on Saturday nights to watch it, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was incredible to watch those early shows. They were pushing against the man.
Yeah, it was very cool and revolty. Yeah.
Very revolty.
Yes,
in the
but
best way.
not revoltine, but revolty for sure.
Yeah, with the Y, man.
With a big capital Y. I think that's part of its staying power. It's just a bit anarchistic. How do I say that word?
It has an
anarchistic?
Anachronistic?
Anna Karenina?
Anna Karenina?
It's like Anna Karenina.
It's very much like
Which
Anna
is
Karenina.
a marvelous work of fiction.
It's my favorite
Me too. I'm so happy
Dostoevsky book.
You brought that up.
Me too. But yeah, there was definitely like a movement behind it. Anyways, it was very, very cool. But you got into comedy while you were at Northwestern, right?
When I went to Northwestern, I went to study acting. So I did a lot of serious work. But then I got into this student-run improv group on campus, which was huge.
But prior to that improv troupe, when you would fantasize about life as an actor, were you imagining more a dramatic, that you would be more of a
I was just imagining all of it. It wasn't a category.
Right. Because some people discover they're great at comedy, right? They're like Will Arnett was very much going to be a thespian. And then was like, couldn't help but notice, oh, I'm funny. It kind of comes easy to me. And then it just changed in that direction. So like that happens to people for sure.
Yeah, it does. By the way, it's thespian.
Okay, what did I say?
Being, as in lesbian.
Oh, you would love being Monica because I mispronounce 10% of words that I say.
Oh, yeah.
And you should hear me.
Conservative.
Vietnamese is one that I just
what?
Vietnamese. I can't get it. I can't.
He's trying to say Vietnamese, but he just can't.
I'm going to make you feel better. My whole life said Massachusetts.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yeah, that's something I would say.
Doesn't that sound right, though?
It does, yeah, Massachusetts.
And it wasn't until I was like in my 40s when my husband said, wait a minute, say that again?
Sure.
And I said, when we go to Massachusetts. And he says, you know that's not how you say it. I said, yes, it is. What are you doing?
That's one of the most common sentences I hear from my wife is, you know you're not saying that, right? As if anyone would know and then choose to just keep going with it. Of course, they don't know I'm not saying. Well, at this point, it's kind of got some comedic value.
Yeah.
Brad, your husband, which, by the way, celebrating your mom is something, but you're at 33 years something?
We will be 32 years married this month, yeah.
Wow.
That is fucking bonkers.
That is crazy.
It is.
And the only thing I don't like about that fact,
I can guess,
go,
is implicit in it is that you're older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like this old lady now.
Yeah. To have been married for 33
that is
years.
Really irritating.
You're minimally 35.
I'd rather say like we've been married, 14 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you have this thing, grown-ass gentleman with a beard will stop me and go, brother, I fucking watched your movies at Thorough when I was 6 every day. I'm like, oh my God, I was acting while this man was 6? Does that happen to you? Like, oh my God, when I was a little kid, I loved
the time. I remember where were we? What was it, the Golden Globes or something?
Uh-huh.
And Lena got up. She had won.
Oh, sure, Lena Dunham.
And she's wonderful, of course.
We love her.
Love.
Yeah.
And she thanked me and Tina for being people that she watched.
Uh-huh.
And I remember
thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah. Congrats. Go fuck yourself.
I hope you fucking try to eat that Emmy and choke on it and die a painful death. See, I've been working with Sam Elliott for the last year and a half, and I adore him. And I just always find myself like, ooh, but you got to phrase this exactly right. Like I want to tell him how macho I thought he was in Roadhouse. But on some level, too, I probably wouldn't have watched Roadhouse if I was 35. It's definitely a movie for a 12-year-old.
Uh-huh.
Just two guys beating everyone up they meet.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, they win for doing that.
Okay.
It just really appeals to a 12-year-old.
Sure.
Anywho,
12-year-old boy.
12-year-old boy.
Because FYI, I have not seen this film.
You haven't seen the Patrick Swayze film Roadhouse?
No, sir.
Okay, well, now it works on a totally different level. I really recommend you see it. There is a close-up. He gets out of bed naked, Swayze. He walks across the room to grab his jeans. He's pulling up his jeans, and then we pop into a close-up of his butt cheeks, and he tightens them, and then the jeans go up. What you know for sure is that Swayze decided, guys, are we going close? I know we got this in a wide, but are we going close on my butt cheeks? And tell me when the camera lands, because I'm going to clench them.
Right. And where was the person to come in and say, Patrick, can you dial that down?
By the way, we might be seeing it dialed down.
Oh, I'm sure you're seeing the subtle
the 60%
for your
version.
Consideration performance of the butt cheeks. That's amazing. I'm watching the movie.
Okay, thank you so much. And then when you're doing it, another fun thing to look for is he is my favorite day player of all time. His name is John Doe. Where we notice this guy at one point in the movie, he's shooting a shotgun at a monster truck coming at him. And while he's shooting the shotgun, his leg is bouncing up, all the way up and down. And like the scene passes and Nate goes, holy shit, go back. How did we miss this? This guy is kicking his leg every time he shoots the gun. We watch it like 4 times. We're like, this is the biggest choice I've ever seen in a movie. Nate goes, go back to that other scene he was in. So then we rewind further. There's a scene he's just kind of in the background. but he's got a straw, and he's put the straw in his mouth, and he's winding it around his mouth, and he's in the background. He's doing it just subtle enough that we had never noticed. And then it goes, go back. So we go back to the next scene this guy's in. He's got a wet bar rag, and he just throws it at Swayze's face, unmotivated. And we realize this guy's making the biggest choices in the whole movie. Who's this guy? We got to find out all of his work and watch all of his work. He's also in Poltergeist. You remember the film Poltergeist?
Of course I do, yeah.
Well, were you able to watch that? Because you don't like your scary movies.
I did, but that was before scary movies became insane. My last film was Silence of the Lambs, and then that was it. I was out.
You called it.
I saw Silence of the Lambs. I almost vomited. I could not bear it. It was so terrifying with that woman in the pit in the house. And oh, Jesus Christ, that was so awful.
It puts lotion on the...
Don't even say that. It's so foul. Then my younger son is... well, all of these kids, they seem to love horror movies. So he saw this movie, Hereditary. He was nuts for it. He said, Mom, it's the best movie. You've got to see it. I said, Charlie, there is no way I'm going to that film. He goes, you've got to. It's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
And so I said, okay, look, I'll go because for two reasons. One is I know Toni Collette. She's a friend of mine. We've worked together. So I know she's not really haunted or crazy or a murderer or whatever it is.
Well, you can call her at the end of the film in case she dies and just confirm.
Excuse me, I did text her afterwards. Okay. Because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't real. And then I said to Charlie, look, every time something scary is going to happen, I have to sit next to you and you just poke my leg.
Right, heads up.
And then I just close my eyes and put my fingers in my ears, and then he would poke me again when it was over. So I missed about 75% of the film.
And what did you think of the film? Loved
it? Every second.
It was a masterpiece, indeed.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Do you think you hate these horror movies so much because you're just feeling it so intensely? Like, are you really emotional in general?
Generally speaking, I guess I am. I just don't. I don't like to be scared.
Yeah.
That's not comfortable for me. It's not a comfortable place. I'd rather cry really hard. I can take that.
Yeah.
But there's something about being really frightened.
Yeah.
Of torturers and murderers and things. I can't handle that.
Yeah. Do you like comedies?
Love.
You do?
Of course.
Well, you say of course, though, but I know many comedians, myself included, probably the least amount of stuff I consume. I'm like really into dramas, the serialized TV.
But I guess what I mean is, of course, for really good comedy.
You love really good comedies.
Of course.
Yes.
I love it. But I'm very judgy, too.
Uh-huh.
Or, shall we say, educated. I've been doing it a while, so.
Well, the analogy I gave to my mother-in-law, who's a nurse, she was getting really mad because Chris and I were watching a reenactment on TV, and we were being very critical of the acting that was going on. And she eventually said, you guys are so mean. And I said, well, imagine this. You're watching a program about nurses, and the scene is a woman taking blood with a carrot. Would you not laugh because you know how one takes blood? It's not with a carrot. I go, extend us that. Like, we know it's probably supposed to be happening.
Right.
Or some realm of what should be
That's
happening.
a very, very good analogy. Speaking of which, I think I had a nurse who took blood with a carrot.
Oh, you don't really?
I still have a bruise on my hand. It was hurting me last night. That dumb bitch.
With a carrot. I'm having a panic because I could talk to you for 6 hours.
Well, I'm happy to talk. I don't have to.
Okay,
I do have to go through some pictures in the afternoon, but that's it.
Okay. Photo kills?
Yep.
Let me just explain really quick what it is. So when you're doing something on set as an actor, there's a set photographer who's taking upwards of 25,000 photographs. And then that lands in the studio's hands, and then they want to release some of those for magazines and publicity. So you have a right as an actor to kill some percentage of those shots.
That's a negotiated position.
Right. You're right. Some people don't even get to kill them, and then it's a sliding scale of how many you can kill. Well, they don't do any editing before they send it to you. They just send you 25,000 photographs, and many of them you look are, in my case, like a fucking gargoyle getting electrocuted.
Yes. Well, and for me now, because I've been doing this for so many years, try watching yourself age over that process.
Right.
That is intense.
Uh-huh.
It's like all of a sudden, oh shit, I got this jowl thing starting. I know I can see where I'm headed 15 years from now. It's bad. Motherfuckers, it's bad.
Uh-huh.
And I can't believe it. I mean, it's so self-obsessive, of course, but you're watching this happen sort of almost as a viewer. It's weird, but it's you.
Well, look, sure, it's self-obsessive, but I don't think there's anyone who's not self-obsessive about how they look. I think we all, in general, all humans have a hard time acknowledging really how old we are, like recognizing like, oh, wow, we're here.
Can I ask you how old you are?
44.
44 is my favorite number. It was my whole life when I was a kid. I love the number 44.
4 is my favorite number.
Oh, it is?
It is. Because of the OCD stuff. It's the ultimately even thing.
So you must be so happy to be 44.
Yeah.
I'm delighted, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not making a joke.
I am in that sense, yes.
No, as you get older, you can't believe it's happening to you, which is so absurd because if you're lucky, it does.
Yeah.
But you are astonished that it is happening to you. Astonished.
Largely the reason is I feel like I'm 12 years old.
Right. Well, I don't feel like I'm 12, but I do feel like I'm probably in my mind, like in my 20s. Slightly smarter version of myself in my 20s.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Indeed, but I kept waiting for some seismic shift of feeling older, and it's just not happening. Seemingly it's not. You know, I'm not waking up going like, I feel mentally older. And so this exterior matches what my interior feels like.
Yeah, I don't feel that way.
There's a lot of incongruity for me.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case for most people.
It's really hard to wrap your head around.
It is.
Yeah.
And yet here it is so basic.
Yes. And then, of course, from my perspective, you're still a 10.
A 10?
You're a 10.
Oh, please.
Thank you, folks, for listening. Tune in next week for more podcasts of all podcasts.